Marinakis coming onto the pitch is completely unacceptable and not allowed and should not have happened, is the narrative that's being spun by the media. We're about to discuss this all. Welcome to your Forest News. Good morning, good evening, or good night. I hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to your latest Forest News. Coming up, we're going to talk about this whole Marinakis and Nuno argument, quote unquote, that happened after the Leicester match. I could sit here and talk about the Leicester match, but we all know what a crap show it was, so let's skip past that. And if you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you are new. If you do want more in-depth stuff on the Leicester game, there was a Grumpy Old Reds last night, and there was my post-match reaction with your player ratings. I'll leave both of those for you guys on the end screen. And don't forget, if you want to grab me a coffee, and boy, do I need them right now. You can scan the QR code or click on the link that's pinned in the comments. Okay, for those of you who are maybe living under a rock for the last 24 hours or so, Forest drew with Leicester. Forest now no longer have Europe or Champions League in the palm of their hands, in their own destiny and control. And Marinakis, at the end of the match, marched onto the pitch and decided to have words with Nuno. Now, at the time, the narrative that was getting spun was about him kicking off, about the draw and what have you. Sky Sports were all over it. And one man in particular, Gary Neville. And Gary Neville has come out with some absolutely disgusting, in my opinion, tweets about it. And let's bear in mind, this is post him knowing the context of that discussion. He put out a tweet saying, "Scandalous from the Forest owner. Nuno should go and negotiate his exit tonight with him. The Forest fans, players and manager do not deserve that." So this was done yesterday, well after the match, well after narratives had been addressed and sorted out. And this is the guy in Gary Neville who, let's not forget, had to write an apology for what he said on Marinakis after the Everton game, or the club in general, should I say, talking about mafias and how they were led. I'm paraphrasing his quotes. Even when it came to him doing his apology, Sky did the apology on his behalf to Forest. And it was meant to have been done publicly because, if you remember, Forest took or looked at legal action against him and Sky Sports. Yet he still has the audacity to come out and say these things. Now, let's rewind and talk about the actual narrative. So if you've seen the clip, and I'm sure you guys have, you can see Marinakis comes onto the pitch. And for me, I don't even think he's come onto the pitch to speak to Nuno, because Nuno's embracing with Skip. Obviously, he probably remembers him or managed him at his time at Spurs. Marinakis is walking past that, and as the embracement finishes, he turns to Nuno and starts talking like this. At the time, I didn't know the narrative. I thought maybe he was talking about the substitutions. The way he was kind of hand gesturing, it was clear it was about substitutions. And obviously Marinakis is passionate about the club, passionate about the performances, passionate about the results. He's going to be hot under the collar. Just like I still am, to be honest, today. I still don't think that result is acceptable. But anyway, then Nuno was interviewed and some quotes were put out. And let me just read you these quotes from Nuno. He says, "It was a misunderstanding between the coaches and medical department, and we were both frustrated. It was because of the owner's passion that we are growing as a club. He pushes us. He wants us to be better." Then goes on to say, if it was the other way around, maybe 1 month ago, he'd say, okay, we have the job done. That's normal. His desire and passion is to be a big club. Honestly, as a club, we owe a lot to the Marinakis family. He's absolutely spot on in what he says. The narrative of that game is the fact that Forest have taken Champions League football out of their own hands. A month ago, when we were 10 points clear of 6th, you could probably overlook it and say, all right, mistakes were made. Let's learn from them. But at this end of the season, you can't. Look, I liken this. Let me give you an analogy here. I don't know if it's right or what, but this is what comes to mind. You've got a Formula One race. You've got maybe Verstappen up against whoever it is, and he's winning the race. And he comes in for a pit stop. That pit stop goes wrong because one of the pit stop crew doesn't quite get the tire on or the nuts onto the tire in the right time. It costs additional seconds in that pit stop, and it means that Verstappen comes out in second place or whatever it is. That's the sum of all the parts not working together. And Marinakis' anger has come from the medical staff in this occasion, indicating incorrectly, as mentioned on Grumpy Old Reds. Make sure you check that out, where he got kind of bird's eye view of it, a first-hand view of it, to see that the thumbs up was given. So that's one thing. Now, Marinakis then responded on this. So let me bring you up the response from Marinakis, where he took to, I believe, Instagram or something and said, "Today is the day for celebration because after 30 years, Nottingham Forest is now guaranteed to be competing on the European stage once again. A promise I made to our supporters when we achieved promotion. With 2 more games to go in the Premier League, we must keep believing and keep dreaming. Right to the final kick in the final game. We are extremely proud and close to Nuno and the team, and we must all celebrate the historic achievements of this season. Everybody, coaching staff, players, supporters, and including myself, we are frustrated around the injury of Taiwo and the medical staff's misjudgment on Taiwo's ability to continue the game. This is natural. This is a demonstration of the passion we feel for our club. Let's all be grateful, passionate, and keep on dreaming." So that's the statement from Marinakis, and I see absolutely nothing wrong with this or his actions on the pitch. Look, whether this is the narrative that's being spun to take away any heat from a debate or an argument with Nuno, I don't even care if he came onto that pitch yesterday and was vexed at Nuno because he drew with Leicester or whatever. It's his club, it's his pitch, it's his money. Do you guys really think the success we've had without, not just forget his money, it's his drive and his attitude and his win at all costs kind of mentality, that is what's driving Forest? Or do you want to go back to Fawaz? Do you want to go back to the electricity bills not being paid, to a owner who doesn't know what a board meeting was? Stuart Pearce had to organize their first ever board meeting and was told, don't do it before 1 p.m. because I like to have a lie-in the morning. Is that the ownership you want? Or do you want an owner who's driving forward, who cares, who's passionate, who when he's in the tunnel or on the pitch to congratulate the players and hug them and embrace them when we've won a game, that's okay with the fan base. But when he's annoyed at a result, and he has every right to be, or annoyed at a decision of a medical staff, which he has every right to be, because this decision could cost Forest hundreds of millions of pounds. This one decision. I'm not saying that if they got it right, Forest would have gone back on and won the game. What I'm saying is, if Forest had won that game and win their next 2, we get Champions League, and you're talking hundreds of millions rather than 10 to 50 million or 20 million, whatever Europa or, God forbid, conference will bring. So, and he's right as well. Look, once all the dust is settled, once my head is less hot about the whole game, and once we reflect back on it at the end of the season, be it Champions League, be it Europa, you reflect back and you think, all right, let's look forward. We're back in Europe. I loved it under the Frank Clark days when we did it back then. That was the last time I saw European football and what have you. You can start to rebuild, but in the heat of the moment, people are going to feel with passion and with emotion, and I have no problem with that. Now, the flip side is, if you feel he's overstepped his line and this should have been done behind closed doors, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with anyone's opinion on anything, but I will debate those opinions with people. And I will put my case forward as to why I think I'm right and my case forward as to why I think they're wrong, and they get to do the same. So I'm not sitting here saying to you guys, if you think Marinakis shouldn't have done it, you are wrong. But I'm also just reminding you guys of what he's done for the club. Now, I've been on loads of panels already today where they wanted to question me about Marinakis. How can you stand behind what he's done? And I've reminded them of their ownerships. I was on Saeed's channel, we were debating this. I was like, bro, your owners don't even know where your pitch is, let alone getting onto the pitch. I would much rather have Marinakis as my owner than the Glazers at United, than FSG at Liverpool, than Daniel Levy and Ineos at Spurs, then who else you got? The Kroenke's at Arsenal. For me, Marinakis is the best owner in the Premier League, for what I want from him, for what he delivers to me. Now, maybe the arguments can come from Villa fans and Newcastle fans about their ownerships, but outside of that, they're all turning into these American conglomerate ownerships where they have one eye on the market in the USA and how they can market it to that. Whereas Marinakis wants trophies and success for Forest. How many times have you heard Gibbs-White going on about it on TalkSport? Oh, on the playoff final, when I spoke to Marinakis, he's like, I'm not just here to make up the numbers. I'm here to win trophies. Ha, 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 ha. Well, who's laughing now? Because he has already completed phase 1, Arteta style, on that, and he's got Forest into Europe. So have your opinions on it, but at the same time, think of the context behind it and think of what he has done for this club. And the likes of Gary Neville and, you know, all those media outlets who have no other narratives to run because Liverpool have won the league, the 3 clubs have been relegated, all that's really left is this top 5 race, and are trying to fill their column inches. Go and fill them somewhere else, because you got warned last time after what you said after the Everton game. And if you think Marinakis is going to sit back and just take that from you, then I don't think you know who he is. But get your thoughts in on all of this. I firmly stand behind what Marinakis did, what he said, and if he went further, I would have backed him as well, because I love what he's done for this club. If you disagree, let me know why in the comments. And if you've enjoyed the video and haven't yet, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed as well if you are new. I'll leave you grumpy old Reds on the end screen if you haven't caught that, and the post-match from Leicester, which I don't want to talk about, but the reaction is all there for you. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.